Are wrist blood pressure cuffs as accurate as arm blood pressure cuffs, like the one I'm holding up here? Are they as accurate? And if so, what's the best wrist blood pressure cuff for you to get? And how should you use them? Guys, I'm answering all three of these questions. Make sure you watch this video to the end. It's really important. And you've been asking me these questions. By the way, this is my home blood pressure cuff that I use at home. First thing I'm going to give you right off the bat is a website to take a look for any blood pressure cuff you are looking for. I would recommend going to a website called validatebp.org. This is a website that can tell you some of the best validated home blood pressure cuffs, regardless of what type it is. So go to validatebp.org. Second thing I'm going to tell you is whatever blood pressure cuff you get, whether it's an arm one or wrist one, which I'm going to tell you if we recommend or not, look at my face, you want to make sure you take it into your doctor's office so they can see how accurate it is. Your doctor can check your blood pressure with your home blood pressure cuff in the office, then check your blood pressure with the one in the office to see if what you have at home is accurate or not. Make sure you're doing this with whatever blood pressure cuff you have. Now to the question at hand. You want to know, are wrist blood pressure cuffs as accurate as the arm blood pressure cuffs? Well, they're not, okay? That's been my personal experience. That is the experience of a lot of organizations. The American Heart Association does not recommend wrist or finger blood pressure cuffs. I didn't even know that was a thing. I guess the finger blood pressure cuffs is a thing. Does not recommend them. They recommend arm blood pressure cuffs over the wrist and the finger blood pressure cuffs. Wrist blood pressure cuffs, often I have found in my own experience, are not as accurate, okay? So first of all, keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind that I'm not your doctor. You need to talk to your doctor about what's right for you. But let me give you a couple caveats because you might have a wrist blood pressure cuff at home. Let me tell you how to make sure you're using it as well and properly as possible to get the best reading. By the way, I should say, there are some people who are not able to use arm blood pressure cuffs because of underlying medical conditions. They're not able to compress the arteries at the upper arms, which is what blood pressure cuffs do, and they need to use a wrist cuff. That might be you. So if this is you, again, you need to be working with your doctor and sort of take heed. Remember, go to validatebp.org to even find wrist blood pressure cuffs that are more accurate. But here are a few tips if you have a wrist blood pressure cuff to make sure that you're using it accurately, okay? And I don't have a wrist one here at home. I only have the arm one, okay? But just a couple of things. Make sure that your wrist blood pressure cuff is literally around the wrist and not any other part of your arm, that it's around the radial artery, which is the artery that's being compressed when we check your wrist blood pressure, okay? Make sure that it's kind of like where you check your pulse, all right? That's kind of the area. But make sure that you're checking your blood pressure directly on the skin and not over clothing. That is really, really, really important. We talked about taking your blood pressure cuff to your doctor to make sure that it reads properly, okay? You want to make sure that your wrist is at heart level. That's going to be important, okay? It's one of the reasons why you need to hold it kind of up here or what have you, whatever the instructions say on your wrist blood pressure cuff, because it needs to be kind of at the level of the heart. That's very, very important, okay? Also, you want to make sure that you're not bending your wrist, okay? Bending your wrist could cause your wrist blood pressure cuff to not read accurately, all right? Those are a few tips to keep in mind when checking your blood pressure. I also have another video on ways to make sure you're checking your blood pressure accurately. Things like emptying your bladder, not drinking caffeine before, sitting quietly for a certain amount of time. Just check out the description of this video or send me a DM if you want the links to that video. I'll also put them in the description, okay? Because I want you to check that out. That applies to the wrist blood pressure cuff. My consensus is that wrist blood pressure cuffs are not as accurate as arm blood pressure cuffs, but due to underlying medical conditions, some people do need to use those wrist blood pressure cuffs. If that is you, make sure you're getting a good cuff. Go to validatebp.org. Also go to validatebp.org to check out the best arm blood pressure cuffs. Make sure you're using that wrist cuff properly. Make sure you're taking it into your doctor. But if you have the choice, go for the arm blood pressure cuff, okay? That is my guidance and my advice. Check with your doctor about what you should be doing. Please write in the comments what you do. Also, best practices. So let me know if you want other videos. I've got other videos on how to check your blood pressure properly, etc. Check those out. This video is not all encompassing. It's just some of the highlights, sort of a highlight reel. So just keep that in mind. I'm Dr. Jen Caudle, practicing family physician, on-air health expert, and video creator. If you've not liked and followed my page on Facebook, I invite you to do so. For those of you who send stars, I respond personally. Thank you so much. Also, please consider joining my subscription groups for exclusive content on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell for updates. And guys, go to drjencaudle.com for more information for my free newsletter and all that good stuff. And hope this was helpful. All right, guys. Bye.